What's going on is Anton from antondaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. No Shave November is in full effect, so you probably won't see any changes from me until December, but there's lots of changes happening. So today I actually start my renovation of my office, and it's hard to believe that I've been in there for almost 3 years. But I have, and I started a renovation of my office, and so we're making a lot of upgrades, creating a lot of new sets, and basically preparing for next year. And so that was scheduled, and you will not see me live streaming inside of my office for a while until about 6 weeks from now. So basically the first few weeks in January, you see that transition. So I'm looking forward to that. Also on top of that, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. We got Block Club coming up, so that's gonna be absolutely awesome. Where we go over things from a real estate perspective. And then last but not least, get your tickets to come and kick it with me in Detroit, December 14th. It's gonna be a great time, and I'm looking forward to kicking it with y'all. Discount code Anton. That's gonna be dope. But aside from that, I wanted to have a conversation because I'm working from home today. You can actually see my messy setup over there. I'm working from home today, and I was looking at and I was going over all of the different legislative meetings and things like that. And they had these things where basically they allow for certain representatives to be able to give their thoughts and go off. And I was looking at Jasmine Crockett. And Jasmine Crockett, along with several other people, not just in our legislative branches, but leaders. And we consider them thought leaders. We give them large platforms. I was looking at Roly-Poly Martin this morning, and apparently he was live streaming, and he only had 300 people on his live stream, but he got 1.5 million subscribers, and that didn't add up to me. And I was trying to figure out what the hell is his engagement doing, but he took $350,000 from the Kamala Harris campaign of y'all money. And we give these people, or you give these people y'all money, and the culture gives them y'all money. But don't y'all realize that these people are inherently racist? The very thing that they blame other people and other cultures and white people, and they benefit off of this society and this capitalistic environment for them to be able to earn, and they get the highest seats and they get the biggest advertising dollars, and they are crafting laws and advocating for Kamala Harris, which wasn't going to be good for us. And they're part of these Greek organizations. So they basically separated themselves from you by joining organizations that allow for them to be able to network effectively amongst each other and build their own communities up. And then they get on these racist rants, such as what Jasmine Crockett said the other day, and they go off on white people and they talk about how oppressed they are and how bad things are and all of this stuff in this great country of the United States of America, right? And I will tell you, right, we do, as bad as this country is, as far as identity politics and gender affirmations and men using women's bathrooms and stuff like that, I will tell you, no matter what they tell you and no matter how oppressed that they tell you that they are, we live in the greatest country in the world, bar none, flat out. I visit a lot of places. I love to visit places. I love to see what's happening out here in these streets. I like to take in other cultures, but I am always happy to get home, right? I visit Canada on a regular basis, and it's, for us Detroiters, is normal because Canada is literally right across the street. But there are people here, I will tell you, there are people here that never, ever leave their hood. So even though you got Canada right across the water, and when I grew up, right, I'm an 80s babies, 90 raised me. When I grew up, it was normal, occasionally to get out and go to A, Cedar Point, or B, Windsor, and go over to Canada. Toronto, the distance to Toronto is the same distance as far as driving to get to Chicago or to go over to Pittsburgh. And there's some people that has only been to Cedar Point, or they've never been over to Canada, or they've never been to Toronto, or they've never been to, Chicago and all of these places. I love Pittsburgh. But it's so much here. It's so much in the United States of America and things to learn. Everybody want to get their passport and go and travel in places and stuff like that. And I'm cool with that. But they don't even understand what's going on in their neighboring city. And so I think that you have to have the combination of both. But, as bad as these, places are, these identity politics and the things that they keep trying to push on us in the Democratic Party is not the same party that it was, when my father was coming up. Not to say that it was good then, but it certainly wasn't as radical as it is now. We've basically given a pass to people to be as racist as they want to be, as much as they want to be, And if somebody does a similar thing that don't look like them, then we would label them racist, but we don't label those same behaviors racist. And I don't understand it. I genuinely don't. I mean, I get it that your grandparents, if you even know your lineage, possibly was sold by an African tribe over to the United States of America. And then, white people or Europeans absolutely capitalize off of that. And I believe that every race of people in every country has experienced some of the worst things and the negative things in society. I was just watching a movie the other day called The Free State of Jones with Matthew McConaughey. And yeah, I get it. But at what point do you move past that? And how long do we give a pass to people to say some of the wildest things against other cultures and get away with it? And I'm amazed at white people. You know why I'm amazed at white people? Because you guys have become such apologists. Not necessarily in the way that you vote, because I'm proud of the way that y'all stood up and actually voted the right person in office, because you don't want your sons and your daughters to turn sassy and ashy. But I'm so sick of these apologists that feel as though they owe somebody something and you've never even experienced it or did it yourself per se, or they've never experienced it or did it themselves per se, but you feel compelled to apologize for the things of somebody that you didn't even know. You didn't ask to be here. They didn't ask to be here. And so, yeah, while you can recognize history, how long do you look in the rearview mirror in order to determine the path to go forward? I can't drive forward looking in my rearview mirror 100% of the time. I got to look out of the windshield. Otherwise you're going to crash. And how long are we going to allow the Jasmine Crockett's and the people like that to use race to justify their hatred towards somebody else? If you don't like white people, just say you don't like white people. I rock with people based off of the color of their skin. And also, let me say something else. You cannot be racist and be Christian at the same time. You cannot hate somebody and be Christian at the same time. Now, you can hate their actions. You can hate some of the things that they do. You can actually hate the lifestyle that they live, but you can't hate people and then sit there and talk about how Christian you are. Now, I know that we all got some things that we got to work on and some things that we got to transition through. But when you intentionally evil, and you can justify it by saying that, well, I'm black. What does that even mean? Do you even know the construct or the mentality behind how you were programmed to label yourselves as black? And I'm just so tired of the separation. And yeah, I can hold every single person accountable, because the one argument that a lot of people will make is, well, what about this person? And what about that? What about me? What about you? What about the accountability that we have to take as individuals in order to create a more conducive environment to our children? And we pass this ashy behavior and this mindset over to our children. And then they grow up having that same narrative and they ain't never been through nothing. And all of a sudden they running in the victim Olympics also. It's dusty, it's tired. And at some point you have to move past it and you have to grow up, or you grow further into your hatred of other people that you've never even met before. And the minute that you see them, it then becomes an issue. You can't meet fire with fire all the time. At some point, you have to meet water, and fire can't survive in water. It can't. It just truly can't. You got to burn that junk off. Burn that hatred off inside of your spirit. But how long are y'all going to continue to justify and have these people in office that continue to oppress you and keep you on a Democratic plantation and using race as a construct to justify their actions instead of being accountable for who they are and where they are in life? And they benefiting off of you. They took all of y'all money. They gave it to all of their friends as a part of the boule. And then Kamala Harris lost, and they still raising money to cover that $20 million deficit, talking about we're going to do a recount. Stop lying. Stop finessing. The biggest finessers are race hustlers. Trust me. The biggest finessers are race hustlers. They don't do anything for the culture. They don't employ nobody. They don't help nobody. They then say that they're building a school for the next 20 years and you don't see no results of it. When you was thinking about enrolling your kid in the school, your kid was 1. Now your kid is 21 and you're trying to figure out where all of the money went. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Get your tickets to see me December 14th. It's going to be dope. Discount code Anton. All of that is in the description. And Teach Hanley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you later on the Millionaire Morning Show. Peace.